Yeah, thank you, Jenkins. So, hello all. So, welcome. So, good afternoon and greetings for all. So, today, as said, we are going to see how we can integrate Azure Cognitive Services along with sentiment analysis within SPFX Outlook add-ins. So, which can help us to detect if there is any issues with our emails. So, let's get into the session. So before that, let me give a short intro about myself and my co-speaker Sarah. So myself, Jayakumar Balasubramaniam. So I work as a product lead at Hubfly. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and a certified developer, frequent blogger and a speaker. So you can get in touch with me on all of these platforms. So please feel free to tweet about by using these hashtags you see at the every sites at the bottom. And Sarah Rajkumar is a product engineer who is working with Hubfly. She's my colleague. So she's working on the Microsoft 365 and Azure platforms and a frequent blogger and a speaker. Here is her contact details. Okay, let's get into the session. So let's set a context. So this is going to be our agenda for today. So before we get into SharePoint Outlook add-ins, so let's we are going to integrate two major pieces right here, right? So the one is Azure Cognitive Services, which comes with the sentiment analysis and SharePoint Outlook add-in. So we are going to see how we can build a handshake between these two great integrations, so to send out the emails elegantly, so that we can maintain great customer relationships, whoever even it is a customer or even if it is your colleague, you can be more conscious on your emails. So that's what going to be we are going to see now. So along with some couple of slides, so we'll be seeing cool demos as well. So with that, I hand over the session with Sarah. So to give you a short intro about cognitive service and the sentiment analysis. Sarah, you can pick it up.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Now we are going to see about Azure Cognitive Services. So Azure Cognitive Services is a set of a machine learning algorithms. It helps us to build intelligent software applications. So we don't need of any machine learning expertise to require to use them. So any developer can use this cognitive services. To use this, we use API call into our existing applications. So this cognitive service has five category services. So these are decision,
Sarah,
language.
I think you need to switch the slides. Uh,
I changed the
we are seeing only the title section, so probably maybe you need to share the entire screen, I guess.
1 minute.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
good now.
can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see this now? Jay, can you see my
Yes,
screen?
Sarah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Azure Cognitive Service are a set of a learning algorithms. It helps us to build intelligent software applications. So we don't need of any machine learning expertise to use them. So we use API call into our existing application. So these cognitive service has five categories. So these are the list of the services. So decision, language, speech, vision, and then web search. So decision has an sub services like it will make smarter and decision faster. It can detect unwanted contents. It can monitor and diagnose issues and problems at early stage. So next language. So language extracts a meaning from unstructured text. It can detect and translate more than 60 languages. It can translate into more than 60 languages. It can detect sentiments, key phrases, and entities. So speech, even it has a several subcategories or like sub services. So we can change, identify, and verify the people speaking based on their audio. We can transcribe audible speeches into readable or searchable text. We can have a text to speech, speech translation, etc. So next vision. This service is used to identify and analyze content within images and videos. It is also used to detect and identify people emotions in their languages. So next is web search. It was helpful us to find what we are looking from the web. So it has services like auto search, custom search, entity, spell check, etc. So so as we know, we are going to see this sentiment, how to detect a sentiment before sending mails and services. So we are going to use text analytics as a service. So it comes under the language service. So language, like already we have seen, it extracts meaning from unstructured data. So this language has a 5 different services. It is an immersive reader, language understanding, Q&A maker, text analytics, and translator. So in this section, we are going to use text analytics. So text analytics detects sentiments, key phrases, and named entities. So it identifies and categorizes important concepts, key phrases, unstructured text, and then it can understand the customer perception. So named entity is has the ability to identify the different entities in text and categorize them into different classes or types like a person, location, event, product, etc. So we have given an input here. For example, Wimbledon is a tennis tournament held in the UK in the first 2 weeks of July 20. So this is the text I have given as input. So output will get like event as tournament, sports name as tennis, location as UK, the types of the entities. So this is an entity recognition. So next is key phrase. So key phrase evaluates an unstructured text and returns a list of key phrases. So it is mainly useful to quickly identify the main points in the documentation. So the same way as in the example input, we have given a text as a sentence. So we will get the main important points as the outputs as a key phrases. Like we have given, we love this trail and make the trip everywhere. The views are breathtaking and well worth the hike. So we are getting key phrases like year, trail, trip, views, and hike. So this is a key phrase extraction. So now the next is sentiment analysis. So it is useful for detecting positive and negative sentiment in social media, customer reviews, comments, etc. So it has 3 labels: positive, neutral, and negative. So we are going to use this sentiment analysis in this email. So we'll see for example of the sentiment analysis. So same, we have given a text as a sentence: the restaurant had a great food and our waiter was friendly. So we all know it is a positive. So in the output it will show us, like already I said, it will label as a 3: positive, negative, neutral, and negative. So the same way in positive, neutral, and negative. So we got positive as a 1 and then neutral and negative as 0. So it means the input text is in positive. So now we will see how to create a text analytics. So in this Azure search, type text analytics. So it will open. So now you can see here, like we'll have a name, subscription, location, pricing, resource group. So type name, and then location, pricing tier. Then give create, or is already. So give a unique name which you have not created already. So you can see I've created text analytics. So you can see the overview of your service. Go to resource. So this is your overview of your service which you created before. So here is an endpoint. So this endpoint we are going to use in the API. So in this manage keys, you will have your key. Yeah, you will have your key. So next the demo will be showed by Jay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
So thank you for setting up the context about Azure Cognitive Services and sentiment analysis. So we'll see how we can integrate with SPFX Outlook and achieve our target for the day. So if you look at SharePoint framework, you can see over here, like I have included Office 365 entirely with SharePoint framework. This is how the SharePoint framework is getting evolved in recent days. Initially, it comes only for SharePoint development, which is a part of Office 365, but now it's now slightly extending its footprints to other parts of Office 365 as well. For example, we have got the capability with SPFX to build apps for Microsoft Teams. Now we have got for Outlook add-ins as well. And for now, it in Office family, Office 365 family, we have it for SharePoint, Teams, and now for Outlook. So it is available majorly from version 1.10. After this version you should be able to get it, and since this is in preview, so since it's in preview, the SharePoint framework outlook add-ins you should be able to use only with the Outlook, that is only in the web version of the app. It is not possible to use with your Outlook client which you have installed in your machine in desktop or macOS or anything. But obviously Microsoft has given a green signal that when it comes to general availability, we will getting this same for the Outlook client app as well, so that you can use the same within your app which is installed in your machine. So this is one advantage with SharePoint framework. So that's why everything is coming into SharePoint. And even though that there was a discussion is going to rename the SharePoint framework to something which is relevant to since it's applicable for everyone's sorry, all the platforms within Office 365, probably the name also could get changed. We're not sure about that. So the one advantage with the SharePoint is you should be able to host this app within SharePoint itself, and you can use it everywhere. Be it a Teams, be it Outlook add-in, so whatever, you can host it within SharePoint. So let's see what are the key benefits of SPFX Outlook add-in. So as I said earlier, it is a SharePoint framework based. So there is no change in the development model. Whatever you do with the SharePoint SPFX web parts, you can do the same. The only thing is how you are going to apply your logic and how you're going to adapt your logic to your to fit with your context. That's the only thing that you are going to change. There is no change with the development model. So you're going to do the same gulp bundle, same gulp package, same React code. Everything is same. You can develop in either React or Angular or pure JavaScript. It's up to you. Again, it's a single code base. So single code base which helps to build the apps for all the platforms like MS Teams or SharePoint or Outlook. You can use in all the platforms with a single code base and single deployment. And again, it's hosted in SharePoint. You don't need to worry about, okay, Outlook is completely out of SharePoint, so how we are going to use this SPFX. It's not like that. And again, it's going to serve from your tenant app catalog only, same as like Teams. So whatever the thing that you develop within SPFX, you can host it in your SharePoint app catalog, the tenant wide app catalog, and it will be delivered for your all the platforms. And it's again easy to access Graph API. So whatever, as I said, so whatever the stuff that you do within SharePoint framework development, like accessing the Graph APIs and managing permissions to access the Graph API, access management, everything you can do same like SPFX for this Office add-ins as well. So coming to this context part, as I said earlier, for now SharePoint is available that we can develop within SharePoint and Microsoft Teams and Office package, and within Office we should be able to fit it with Outlook. So how we are going to differentiate the context? So as I said that it's going to single platform and single development platform. How we are going to different share the context in which platform that your app is running. So that's why I said it's a single code base. So here is the key. So how you are going to get the context and how you are accessing the context is the major thing. So if you see, if you are using it within SharePoint, the context will be like this. This prop.context.page context. You get it in your webpack.ts file, which is the first file that's get initiated. The page context is the key for SharePoint. And suppose if you're within the Microsoft Teams, the context will be like this: sdks.microsoft.teams.context. So your team's context will be separated. And at the same, if you're going to within your office, the context will be like sdks.office.context.mailbox, something like that. So this is how you can differentiate and base, you can check for the null reference or whatever the stuff based on your logic, and you can decide on which platform the app is running. Okay, let's get into something like building a plat app. So as I said, the uh, Outlook add-in, which comes with SPFX, is in a preview mode. If you want to get a preview version of Office 365 add-in, you need to add this additional command called hyphen plus beta when you try to create a project, SPFX project. So this is the command that we will use to create a project. You at Microsoft/SharePoint. Along with that, you need to give this. If you haven't mentioned this, then you won't get the preview features. Then you won't get the project settings related to Office add-ins. So I will show you how it, the folder structures and the project structure, everything. Before that, let me give you some glimpse about how the things works. And this is going to be our second command that we need to install additionally once we create the project, because this gives you the types that is related to the Office 365 package. That means which helps to access the objects related to Office 365 like Outlook and maybe any other Office context. Just we need to install it for the easy developer purpose. Maybe without this also you should be able to do it, but it helps. And again the context, so this is going to be our context, like context.sdks, which we see already in the previous site. Context.mailbox, since we are going to access the email, we need to use this dot mailbox. And this is going to be our fourth one, like as we know that this session is about integrating with text analytics. And text analytics, now everything is moving towards the node modules package. We are getting everything within the package, so which makes the development work easier. So if we use this package, which is an official package for text analytics, at Azure/AI text analytics, then you can make the REST API calls and process the results with a predefined set of typed components and objects that the result is there. And the next step will be like building. Once you integrate this, we will be making our logical implementations. Then just build and deploy within your SharePoint app catalog. Then we'll be activating within Outlook web add-in. Then we will be using it within the Outlook. So we will show you step by step a demo for each and every section. This is just an overview what we are going to do. And the one more key thing, the important of why we are with this session is, generally when you create an Outlook add-in, it will be accessible only within inbox. That means if you can use this app within your inbox only. It is not compatible by default to use this add-in when you compose a message. I mean, that means when you compose a new email. That's why we are going to see now, which is an additional step that I will show you. And this is going to be a key for that. If there will be an one JSON file, I will show you where it is. There will be one JSON file, and we need to add this additional configuration. It's just about Office add-in configuration, which if you look at the command over here, the type of this extension point is message compose. You know, compose means creating a new message. We just need to add this type. By default, when you create an Office display add-in, you will get it only for message read. Message read in the sense it's about inbox or sent items. But message compose, we need to add it. And once you add that, you should be able to get the same Office 365 add-in within your new compose as well. I will show you the two differentiations so that you get better understanding why we are going with this. Let's see it in live action. So let me start it first with the inbox only mode. So then you get some better understanding. Yeah. So now if you see, I have created an one command, one web part. If you look at this sample, I hope, let me Let me magnify it. Yeah, if you look at the command, I have used plus beta as the command. So if, in beta version, we have only web parts available, so that I have created it as a web part. So our Office 365 add-in is also a web part. That's why we can use it as a, there is no separate type component called Office 365 add-ins. It comes along with the web part only. Once we create it, I have created some sample demo. Yeah, I guess, yeah. This is the app that we are talking about. So once we create this plus beta version, apart from this regular normal Office 365 packages, the project structure will have one additional folder called Office add-in. So if you look at the sample, it is just Office add-in. It's not targeted to Outlook. That's why I said, so in the near future, this same capabilities will come for the other Office apps as well. But for now, it is enabled for Outlook email web apps. So that this is the XML file that I'm talking about. If you look at this sample at the bottom, you can see desktop form factor. There is an element called extension point. And if you look at the extension point, the command is called message read command surface. That means either it is an inbox or it is an outbox. Only in that cases, it will be visible. Let me show you the same. So the one thing, as I said, you just need to deploy the app. You just need to run the commands, same like what you do, like run the gulp bundle ship command to bundle the package, and then your gulp package solution ship command secondly to get the .sppkg file. Once you do that, you just go to your app catalog. I have just created Hello World. This is just a demo app for to show you the difference. I will show you another demo with the actual implementation. So let's upload the package alone. It's uploading. Let it upload. So once it's uploaded, so you will be able to see that, for example, this is the inbox, my Outlook web version. This is the inbox. If you look at the three dot over here, like you can look at my cursor, I'm just rounding it over here, the three dot. If you click on this three dot, you get an section called add-ins. Go to the add-ins section, and in the my add-ins, you just need to upload your add-in. That means that is we have two different components, like we need to upload the package over here, and the second one is we need to upload the XML file. That is what which we see now. You need to come to Outlook and activate your XML file for the Outlook package. That will be available within your Office add-in, and this is the XML. Just click on it and upload it. You get it, SPFX template, which is just a Hello World app. Now it will be visible within this three dots, like if you see SPFX template. Uh, I think it's running from local, so maybe that's the reason I get error. That's okay. It's just a demo sample app. I have another sample which is working fine. I just display it for you to show you the differentiation between the inbox and the new compose. Since we haven't made that XML configuration, this app will be visible only within this inbox. If you look at here, it is an inbox. Now, if I go and create a new message where we need actually the sentiment analytics has to be implemented, I don't see it here. You see, there is no SPFX template available here. Only the sample which I have already built and I have already configured is visible. That's the reason we are going to make that configuration change. Let me discard this. Discard. Even if you give the reply all, you won't get that. Even if it is from inbox, if you give reply all, you won't get that SPFX, because again it's going to be a compose mode. It's not in the read mode. That's the one problem that you may face, and here we already saw a solution for that as well. And let me open up the same XML file for you. If you look at this sample, Here I have configured one additional extension point. Let me minimize it so you get some better view. If you look at this, here I have configured one additional extension point. But if you look at the demo, default demo, which is comes along with Office 365 add-in, you get only one read command surface. This only helps to uh, add this package that appears within the compose mode as well. And here one more thing we need to notice, you need to change this group name because same group cannot be reside within the same XML. When you copy, I just copy pasted this. When you copy paste this, this ID you have to update it from message read group to some message write group. You can name it anything. It depends on you. And again, whenever the Microsoft develop SPFX, they give maximum of the configurations like branding kind of stuff with us itself. So we can handle that freely. Like if you look at this sample, that display name of the app, I have configured it here, check email sentiment. But by default, you will get it something like this, for example. You will get this SPFX template and you get this some default add-in icon. But if you look at my sample, I have changed the name and also I have changed the icon as well. All the configurations resides within your this manifest XML, which is within Office add-in package. And if you look at here, like I have changed the name and the description and the icon, it's going to be an URL. I just changed the URL over here. And even within your resources, you can change the 3 positions. You need to change the icons for different sizes. You can change that. Okay, now let me show you actual demo because maybe you may be bored with just the slides and this XML files. So let me show you the actual demo. Then I will explain you how that works. So that will help you to understand. Okay, then I will explain you how I have integrated the both. For example, so this is a new message that I have created. Now, if you look at, I have an add-in implemented. I'm just going to open up this. So it's like, yeah, let me run it. I don't have anything typed over here. So I just get empty message. I just set a message to add some content. Please type something in the content before processing. I have framed some content already. Let me open up that. For example, this is one positive tone content. Let me close this. So if you read the message, I am just going to appreciate someone. I'm just going to give appreciation for their work. So thank you for being great manager on the latest project. Your works are reflect. Thanks again. You're doing grateful. So it's completely positive tone, right? That we know. There is no problem with this kind of appreciation because when you send an appreciation, it's we know that we are not going to have any harsh words or harsh terms. Completely it's going to be positive. In this case, maybe our sentiment analysis will not be needed because the context itself about sending appreciation. But what you think about if you're going to send any escalation or if you're going to tell someone that there is some issue with that, they need to be very polite over that, right? That's where this package comes in. That's where this our demo comes in. So if you look at even for this sample, since everything is positive, I get a great score like 0.94. Something is negative, maybe it's because of couldn't some terms, but that's very less. But if you look at the positive score, it's almost 1, and I don't have any neutral and it's negative. And this is the message that I get. So you can get the scores each sentence wise as well. So yeah, for example, in this example, there is 3 sentences. Thank you for this helping project manager is 1 sentence, and your organization works is a 2nd sentence, and this one thank you again comes takes it as a 3rd sentence. You once you pass this entire word over give you the result sentence wise as well. For example, if you see the score, I can see for each sentences, like here I get positive 0.99, and for the second one I get 0.83, and for the third sentence I get 0.99. Okay, we have seen positive. Let's see the real use case. Like suppose you are going to escalate or you are going to report something as an issue, how it works. Let me replace the context. So if you look at this sample, I'm just reporting one issue to my team. There was an issue in a production app after upgrading the latest package. It stopped the user completely from using the app. How do we fail with the quality testing? So I'm raising a question with my team. Maybe this term looks hard, right? But how do I know? Because some issue is already comes in, so I don't know. In the urgency of typing, I may miss the politeness even if I reporting issue. That's why we are here to learn this. So I'm asking them to revert back. Let's see the sentiment scores for this term. Just going to use it. Analyze. Let's analyze. Oops. So it's completely negative manner. So if you look at the sample, there is nothing I have mentioned as positive. My score is 0.01, and I'm setting the context for almost 80% of negative sentences. And you can see sample. I have created a neat UI which show you difference between the three different categories. For example, this sentence is negative with 0.5. There was an issue in production, so I'm reporting, and it is something neutral because it's just of the user, and it is neutral with zero point 0.3. Neutralness means it's nothing positive, nothing negative, so it's just in the mid. And if you look at the last sample, I'm raising a question against my users, right, with a hard tone. That's why how do we fail with the quality testing? I'm writing a hard tone. That's why my negative score goes very high, like 1. So it stops me, right? It alerts me, okay, I'm telling something in a harsh manner. So I can change the context, or I can be polite, or I can add something polite at the end so that the users will be feel more comfortable rather than getting into pressure. Let me add something at the end and re-evaluate this. I have added one more. Like, I would appreciate if someone take ownership and fix this issue. Even though there is an issue, I'm requesting someone to take this and appreciate this. So let's see the score now. After I get the alert, I'm just going to now I have modified the text, right? Now let's see. If you look at the sample now, I have gained a neutral score because now I am partially polite. Have gained positive score of zero point 0.3. Even if it is an issue, I'm getting the positive score, right? So you can see the positive content comes with the last content which I have put in. I would appreciate if someone take. I'm being polite and I am asking someone to take, and I am appreciating in a positive manner. So this helps you to identify what what email that you are sending, whether you are sending a right email in a polite manner or such like that. Hope you got a better idea of the real need of this integration. So let's get into some coding how I have done this so that you can go ahead and implement within your organization, or you can see a demo as well. So this is our overall demo. We have done with our demo. Let me show you the some coding. Yeah. So we have seen this extension endpoint, like which we helps to comes with the compose section, and coming to coding. So as we see in our slides, I have included the package called Azure AI Text Analytics. That's the first step that we need to do. And once you do that, you get the relevant and one more package that we need to integrate is the types, which is for Office 365 Office packages. Here it is. I'm just selecting the lines. And after that, it's just a default report which I have modified for this look and feel. As Sarah showcased you, we'll be getting a, let me open up the if you open up the text analytics which you have created, in the overview section you get your endpoint, which is what we are going to use within our app, and you get your keys over here which will open the keys and endpoint. You have two set of keys, and the endpoint is also here. We are going to use the same within our app, the key and the endpoint, which is an input for this text analytics client, which is a node module package. You're going to pass in your key, and you're going to add your key and endpoint. Once you do that, the code is very simple. I have placed one button called analyze, and here I'm just going to get the mail body. If you look at this sample, uh, I'm just zooming in for your understanding. Yeah. just zoomed in. I have placed my key and endpoint, and I have configured the text analytics client. The next step that I'm going to do is on pressing my button, I'm just going to call this method. In this method, if you look at, as we see in the slides, I'm getting the context of the mailbox item. Once I get the mailbox item, we have a default method to get the text within the mail body content. Since here I have just used only the normal text. Suppose if you are using any breaks or bulletins, then you need to plan your logic based on that. Once I have read successfully, if I read the text message successfully, then I will get into the analytics part, sentiment analytics. Here I'm not going to make any AP calls explicitly because the text client going to take care it for me. If you look at this example, I have configured the text analytics input, sentiment inputs. The sentiment input is my body structure, that the mail body that I'm going to pause in with the analytics client. And along with this analytics, can you get all the default methods that is available with text analytics, like sentiment analytics is available. And as Sarah said, there is a key phrase extraction, recognizing the entities, linked entities, detecting the language, what language that your text is, everything is available. You can use. For our use case, we are going to use analyzing the sentiment. Once you do the analyze sentiment, you will get the entire score, which I have logged overall score, and then you will also get your scores for each sentences within this sentence parameter. You can just loop through and frame your logic. I've just used the regular React state modes so that I can set the state, my UI get re-renders, and I have just used the message bars and the sliders for to showcase the examples for you. And one more last point to add, the SPFX outlooks, you can also run it from the local. It's not that okay, we are just running within SharePoint, so it doesn't mean that you need to stick only with the SharePoint and you need to publish only check. It's not like that. You can run it from the local and design such kind of UI. To run it from the local, the only thing that you need to do is once you bundle the ship, let me show it in the code. Yeah, in the terminal, the terminal is some with bigger view, so you can have some look. After running this gulp bundle ship command, which will bundle your packages, you just need to run the. If you want to run it directly from SharePoint catalog without running from this local, you can use this command like package solution hyphen zip, so which will push your bundled JS file within SharePoint app catalog. At the same time, if you want to run it from the local, you just need to remove this hyphen ship at our second command called package solution. Then you just the same procedure. You just need to go and deploy within your app catalog over here. And once you deploy it, you just need to give the as usual the gulp serve command before you open up. If you give the gulp serve, you can look at the changes from your local itself. You don't need to depend on the app catalog version. So this is the demo for today. So just a quick overview. We have implemented this along with the text analytics. We're just going to use the preview version of Office 365 add-in. We used it and we use the text analytics client with the key and endpoint. This is the one integration, and we are going to read the messages with the help of the Office context. If you look at the props context.stcase.office, the mailbox item, we get the compose, and we use the mail body.getAsync to get the text within the body content, and we just pass as an input within the text analytics, and we get back the result. Once you get back the result, you can frame the UI or send the alerts to someone or manager. You can define another use case like, okay, can I send an alert or another email to the current user's manager that he's sending harsh email, something like that. You can implement. It's completely depend on your business logic. So that's it for today. So hope we are done with the session. So maybe it's a Q&A session. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask. So we have one query like what? Yeah, the same parameter plus beta parameter is the same. And we have got one query. So if you are seeing my screen, Yes, it is the same parameter to get the beta version of the app of its add-ins. And what is the subscription here? I guess it is something related to Azure, the question from Niti. So the subscription is that we need to, it's up completely up to your organization or your personal account, what subscriptions that you have. We have some MPN subscriptions. The subscription is going to manage your cost that involved within your text analytics, and you can create anything, any Azure services that's tied up with your subscription only. The billing goes to that. If you see, I have access to these much subscriptions and each running with different costs. So subscription is completely to manage your cost of Azure services that you're using. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you, Jayakumar. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for providing the session. Okay, so the next session is starting in few minutes. Like I've updated the URL also. Please join that. Extended in Microsoft Teams by Rick. Okay. Thanks, Jayakumar. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
thanks.
Thank you, team.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Be safe. Bye.